And welcome all the students the globe. We are very much excited to meet you all and share some thoughts and some experiences. And coming this 2 hours, definitely we try to engage you and somehow we can exchange some of the insight about that there is no rules, but there are some guidelines which will help you to create a great film. Principally, there is no as a big difference between the landscape photography and the vertical filming. Because story, if you have a good story, you can shoot with the landscape traditional filmmaking or whatever the medium you can choose. But important is the story. The major difference is just for the composition because in landscape shoot you have a bigger space to perform, but in vertical filming you have a little area is shrink to perform performance acting and all. But this is a second part of the session, but important is the story. So the better story, uh, definitely you will find something which is interesting to watch, and total duration is around 1 minute. Means what? The 60 second. Do not say 1 minute. This is a 60-second duration which we decide for the film format. And whatever medium you have it, you can maybe possibly you can shoot with the drone, or maybe you shoot with some fancy ARRI camera or DSLR or iPhone or Samsung phone, any phone. The device is not actually matter. The idea is to communicate or to share your experience with the larger area of the audience. The important is that, and purposely we thought this year why not we can introduce the vertical filmmaking, because this is the upcoming trends in a global market. Definitely you find some great films in Netflix also, but let's have an amazing experience with vertical filmmaking this year. And some are the important, not just like I share you, there is no rules, there are some guideline and tricks and tips. So what is the important factor is storytelling, focus on main idea or movement. For example, but there are a lot of things to discuss today and we can try to communicate. Maybe there should be, you should find something is interesting plot. Okay, the moment which inspire you, keep it very simple. Do not do very much complicated story because the duration is very small. You have only 60 seconds to communicate. So do not find anything which is complicated, which is very much into confusing for the audience. To keep a very simple idea, and try to keep only one or two character in the film, maximum three, because the larger uh, cast members in a 1 minute film, it definitely will confuse the audience what you want to actually communicate. So try to keep one main hero in the film with the story around the play around this main hero. And important is nowadays if you can see a lot of reels is floating around on Facebook or Instagram and many other platform, where the starting 4 to 6 second or maximum 6 second is very important to catch the audience attention. So you can start with amazing beautiful visuals, having amazing color and hue. Okay, good cinematic frame, which is at least audience can try to stuck with the frames and want to see what is coming next. So this will important thing, which is you have to be movie start with something interesting visuals or some interesting dialogue which captures the audience attention. Another thing is uh, do not show anything which is disruptive. Do not show any which is student audience don't like to watch. Important is your visual by itself having a have a potential to grab the audience attention. Okay, avoid dialogues because sometimes your movie is maybe will post on Instagram or in some other medium, and the movie will float around the world. If there is a dialogue, too much of dialogue, then it will restrict to in some specific geographical area. So you try to avoid dialogues. Maybe you can put minimalistic of dialogue and try to perform well where your dialogue is not having too much attention. But this is not compulsion. If some dialogue is there and need to communicate the story well, you can definitely add the subtitle in English also. Okay. So important is your story should be filled with beautiful visuals, and visual by itself narrate the story. Do not depend on too much dialogues and other things. Okay. And important thing is, in all the format of films, either the vertical, short film, animated film, any whatever the film is there in the world, the movie end up with some message, some emotional connect with the audience, and this entire shot should be very much memorable. Otherwise, why we are making film? To communicate our feelings, to communicate our message to the society. So movies end up with some message, some education for the society, or maybe you can end up with some nice caption also. Movie end up with some negative thought, it's okay, but in the negative end, there is some hope of positivity. So keep this in mind always. Do not end your movie just like flat. Try to keep uh, memento towards the graph and reach to the climax and conclude the your storyline. Will definitely explain you in next slide where how the three act structure and story graph is important. But most the important thing is because we are not filmmakers,
Yes, Samir
right?
sir.
We are not.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Samir sir. So what you have mentioned is very correct, and that is very vital. Another thing I think which all the students need to be reiterated that the theme of this year, superhero in daily life, right? So that is one theme that obviously we have already informed to all these centers and all the participants who are joined in this particular masterclass. They should be aware that we for this particular vertical filmmaking category there is a theme called superhero in daily life. So all the story which you plan to showcase in this particular category that need to be around that, right? So obviously, this time we are not. We need to think beyond of the superhero definition that we have. That all the superheroes are usually flying and they are having capes and they have a cosmic power and all. This time we have to focus on those superheroes who live around us. Okay, means a mother can be a superhero, maybe a teacher, maybe a person who lives in your neighborhood and do something in that particular genre or something in his capacity which changes the society and maybe start thinking in our mind that this need to be done in this way. So this type of story need to be prepared for this particular category because the theme is superhero in daily life. So yeah, this is what I would like to mention over here. So whatever Samir sir was telling, we need to apply all those process of filmmaking on this particular theme. Yes, yes, Samir sir.
Yeah, definitely, Amit sir, correctly saying, and we have some other slides also to cover this point in more in detail. But idea is,
Okay, great.
uh, mostly students are learning school and they don't have any experience about filming a short, because we are not a filmmaker, but yeah, definitely we are learning, and this type all the experience which the arena is giving you is to somehow you find your artist within you. Maybe someone from the team become an amazing story writer or maybe director of the short. But important is much good idea or maybe the framing and composition, we will get inspiration from some good films. If you can see in the next slide, there are some of the film which is we mentioned here. Maybe some of the films you definitely watch in early days, or John Wick, or there are many other films. But these all the films are you must watch just because of the story. Definitely, story is an important part of your film, but how the composition is all about, where the yeah, in the entire frame, how much emphasis on the character and what is they are exchange, what are the colors they are using it in the particular shot, because each and every shot is communicating something. Either the shot is maybe emotional or maybe anger or something which is the part of film, but everything is contribute for the shot, and each and every shot is the film. Lot of sequence of shots combined together communicate one story, but every shot try to communicate something. So do not compromise on, okay, this is the short duration is maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds, so why we are thinking so much? No, in your 60-second short film which you are going to make, and within the 60 seconds maybe you have 40 shots, but your planning of the shot is in a very much in the sequence where every shots have to try to communicate something, and this is we learn from watching good films. Okay, because few things you cannot find in the books, you cannot find in any document, but when you watch the film seriously, not once, you can watch the film twice, thrice, or fifth time, you will find thing, and that can we can take inspiration and utilize in our film when we start working on it. But everything is based on your story communication, and your planning. Do not do anything without plan. Each and every shot should be planned very properly. Okay, the position of the character, the light angle, if there is any dialogue, or the camera angle is a top view, long distance view, extreme close up, long close up, whatever. So do not do any decision randomly, because each and every shot is equally important to communicate the entire story. Right. So Akhtar sir, if you want to add anything in that point.
Yes. Now, similar to what Samir sir mentioned, where the inspiration comes from, how a story is structured. So basically, how a film, irrespective of the duration, how it should be seen as is a cause and the effect. This is known as the cause and effect of how a film plot or a story arc is structured. At the end of the day, a short film or a full length film is a visual narrative. And that visual narrative is showing us a certain sequence of events. Now, these sequence of events is based upon a certain action or a certain cause, and because of that action, because of certain circumstances, what effect it has, and that only drives the visual narrative of the film. And this is what the plot or the story arc is all about.
Yeah. So this is what we are discussing, the story arc and so-called three act structure is very important, because the entire film you can divide in three parts, not the equal, but three parts. The climax is always, uh, you know, is only 10% of the entire duration. The major area which is consumed by the audience is the middle part, where story is actually taking place. So the idea is this, showing this graph or three act structure. Start with simple introduction of the character, who is your main hero of the character, and where he lives, the surrounding, the backstory, what he like to do, what is everyday routine. So you establish the entire movie at the beginning. Maybe you will take 10 to 12 seconds to establish your character and the plot. Okay, where is movie in taken place? The hero is the farmer or policeman or bus conductor or taxi driver, whomsoever. And what is the main conflict? What is the main stress going through with this character? For example, in our daily life superhero movie, I'm just give you example. Suppose there is one you know in a building, in your building or maybe in my building, there is a watchman, and if they work in the shift, sometimes they are do extra hours also. But if you want to create a film on the watchmen who are securing your building and doing their duty, so you try to establish the watchman and what is the critical part of it. He is very much dedicated and passionate and committed towards the securing your building. So try to show different time span, like in the morning or maybe the midnight, or whatever the time is going through, with maybe there's a raining or the heavy sun or whatever the situation, the climate and weather, this person is always on the duty. So this is your center character, where you are establishing the main hero of your film and what is the character is going through. The main challenging part of your story is the middle part, which is roughly around 40 seconds. Your end is 10 to 12 seconds, maximum 10 to 12, or take it 15. Starting point is 12 to 15. Okay, the middle part is take a major attention, which is around 30 to 35 seconds, where you are showing the actual journey of this hero, how this hero is inspired you and others. So this area is always need more attention, because this is the area where student audience watch the film. Because of your middle area is interesting enough, then only audience can watch the film to till the end, where your action is rising and you reach to the climax and resolve. So most of the time, the common mistake happen with the students. They know the end of the story. They definitely very much plan the starting point of the story, but they lose the middle portion. And the important is that only you watch any film in a theater or maybe in your television, always the middle portion of any film or any medium, 2D animation film, 3D animation film, live action, stop motion, whatever you take it, the important is the middle portion, that you have to be spend good time and plan it well. So in any format, this 3x structure is very important. The like theme, the Amit sir recently shared with you all, your theme for this contest is your daily life superhero. So superhero means not Spider-Man or Batman or uh, any of the superpower and cosmic power they have it. No, your superhero is maybe, which is your they are effect, they around us, they around us. Maybe you have to be study what do they do daily life, how they inspired you, what their routine is all about, where you can somehow inspire. So maybe a superhero is for you, but someone is a simple common man. But this common man may be a superhero for you. So it depends on your perspective, how you can analyze around you. Who are the people around us, and somehow, because of our daily routine, because of we are busy in some our own schedule, we are very easily ignored some of the people around us. We are very easily ignored, and we are not bothered about what they are doing. But they are seriously doing a very critical, important work which is affected our life. So you try to find those people who are ignored. Maybe these people, the purpose of superhero means what? Superhero means that someone is around you and me or us are 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 adding very critical role in our life, which is we cannot uh, acknowledge, which is we cannot see uh, dominantly, because they are very playing a very silent role in our life. But because of the selfishness of our nature, at least for me, and the schedule, we easily ignore these all the people, but they are seriously affecting our life and they are contributing. So for example, I'll show you in next slide. uh, you know the people who are, maybe, for example, just I told you the watchman, okay, or maybe the milkman, or maybe the taxi driver, or maybe someone, the cleaning staff who always, it may be in your office also. Someone is reach on time, and before you reach, they have to clean entire premises. But you feel okay, this is their duty, but somehow they they keep you happy, and they give you amazing fresh atmosphere before you reach office or at your home. Or someone, maybe your friend, your dad, your sister, your girlfriend. But these all the people are, innocently playing a very important role, and everyone should be acknowledged. Everyone in this planet earth should be acknowledged. Maybe your pets also, because many people, apart from me at least, or you, they are self selfless, but they are not doing anything to take attention. They are just doing it just because of they feel their duty is like that. But our duty is, we should acknowledge their effort. We should acknowledge their time, their energy, and passion towards doing whatever they want to do. For example, a delivery boy. I'm just giving you example. Matlab, you can find something more interesting around you, and you observe, you study their routine, you study their daily life, and somehow you find it interesting enough to filming on their routine, and somehow towards end of the story you can acknowledge their effort. What is the meaning of superhero? You should acknowledge directly or indirectly. Many people at our home, or in our friend circle, or maybe in a school or a college, or in our society, in our relatives, everywhere, some people are doing, uh, life is very much in struggling. They're struggling going through the life, but they always, their face keep happy. Why? Because you don't want to affect the the from this person. You should be like keep and calm. You feel relaxed because someone is doing their own, fighting their own battle. So important is, the sensitive area is, you should find people around us. Do not, just make a story like because of sir ne bola hai, because sir is saying you must make a one good film. No, you have to find uh, your voice. You have to find your own character who are somehow indirectly inspiring you. and then stitch the plots, stitch the different sequences, and show their daily routine to the society, which is inspire you. So the idea is, there are two things which is in we are trying to cover in this competition. Basically, competition is just sake of competition. Winning or losing is not actually make a big difference, but important is uh, how we can learn going through this entire process is more important. How we can study the life and capture the moment which is touches audience heart. Do not make anything just like doing it. You know, you try to communicate your feelings, what you learn and what you inspired from, try to communicate to the entire world. This is what somehow we are improving your sensitivity, your eye for detail, and how you can film this shot using a specific device. Okay, so yeah, definitely there are a lot of I suggest one thing which is maybe you like or maybe dislike, but uh, suppose there is one story in your mind. Okay, maybe some of the teams are already decided ki, okay, I want to make this. Okay, what you can do, you can go plan, roughly you do plan and do the shooting maybe today or tomorrow itself. Or maybe you can spend 2 days to shoot the entire film, whatever running in your mind, do the rough edit and watch this film. Or maybe you can show to your friends or family and members. Are this movie is inspired you, is sufficient enough to grab the audience attention or not? Let's do some homework. Why we want to make a final film? Just have a take a rough take on this. To rough shoot and do the edit and just check is that because we are making we are not filmmaker and we don't have any experience to make a such a great film, but why not we test ourselves first? Why not we do one dry run before going for the final shoot? Because when you watch the film, the shooted by you only and edited by you only, you will find many mistakes in first go. You will definitely find some replacement of the shot. You will realize ki, why I'm taking this shot. This shot is not communicating anything. We need some extreme close up, maybe, or some other angle, or maybe some other light direction. So we have a time to explore around us. I suggest, this is just a suggestion from my side, to go for a shoot, do one rough take, and learn from your own mistakes. And then there is the planning come to the picture where you can plan each and every shot, because every shot occupying some time and duration, maybe 1 second or 2 second, also very important. One thing is, again, I'm sharing you with your my experience. Do not go a longer complicated story. It will not help you, because 1 minute film should be finished within 1 minute. If your storyline need a 2 minute long or 2.5 minute, it will not fit within 1 minute. Never. Doing the good edit, okay, doing the good edit skill, you can reduce by maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds max. But if the movie need to communicate well, if the movie demand is 2 minutes, then you need to spend 2 minute duration film. Do not force to fit within 1 minute. So you try to find the story which is smoothly, easily made for 1 minute only, or maybe 1 minute, 15 seconds. So we can spend some good time and chop one of the shot which is maybe not required and try to within 1 minute. Yeah, definitely there are a lot of things and there are doubts. We'll definitely try to help you out. Let me finish this part. Don't worry, all the students. We are all here. Actually, why we are meeting here, to just share the thoughts and some experiences. Definitely, this is not the one way. I am not only come to teach you. Definitely, I want to learn something from you also, because we have a good question. Yeah, next slide.
Uh,
Uh,
y- yeah, Samir sir. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I can see some of the participants are raising their hand.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
guys, if you have any questions or queries, rather in discussion, going in discussion, I would request if there is any question, you can put your question in Q&A section so that whenever we get time or the mentors will get time, we'll address those questions. So that is one. And others have who have raised their hand. Uh, I think Zayan, you have raised your hand. Is what's the concern? Can you mention in the chat?
Yeah, so I think, Amit, if there are any specific questions related to storytelling
Hmm.
or understanding, so we can take those couple of questions now only, since Samir
Okay,
sir is
great.
already in the flow of talking about story ideation.
Right. So, okay, I don't see any questions till now. Yeah. So, guys, just
There
note
is
if you
something
have
in the
any
chat
questions.
box. Which is the chat box where students are typing something.
Yeah, I mean, most of the confirmation that we have asked, and then they are giving you thumbs up and love. Okay. There is one question. Do we have to write a short description for our film? Yeah. Samir sir, would you like to take this question? Obviously, I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah.
required that you have already covered. But if you want to take this question specific,
Yeah, definitely. Student must share their story. The final story they must send it to us before 4th of June, right, Amit?
yes, 4th of June is the first phase where student need to submit their storyline, script, and storyboarding.
Yeah. So, uh, team together, spend some time and do research and final story and your rough storyboard you must send to us before 4th June. And we'll discuss with the senior mentors and if anything fine to tweak or anything
Right.
want to add some short or remove some short will definitely guide you and after that you can start processing for the production. Which is the best video length for this? Yeah, the competition is for 1 minute.
Yeah, Samir
uh,
sir,
yeah.
there is a window of 1 minute to 1.5 minute. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, there is a window because obviously no one can create a film in exact 1 minute. Maybe the storytelling or the important part required maybe for 4 seconds or 5 seconds more. So we have given a window of 1 and 1.5 minute. But obviously, remember, if you keep your film crisp, and then it will be more catchy to the mentors and audience. So don't go beyond. Try to go till 1.5 minutes. Try to keep it one, and maybe if it overflow for 5 or 10 seconds, that will be fine. But the window is one minute to 1.5 minute.
Okay, means the total is 60 plus 30. Total duration maximum is 90 second, right?
Yes, 60 to 90 seconds.
Total duration, I repeat again, all the students, please attention and listen to this. The total duration of the movie without credit, total duration of the
Right.
movie without credit is 90-second max. You can finish the movie within 40 seconds also, 75 also, but do not go beyond 90 seconds. This is the final uh, uh, length which is
Right.
you keep in mind. Okay, so this is I'm just showing the another slide which is the structuring which maybe help you. This is not the rule. I am saying again. This is just for a guideline where you can keep 15 second to introduce the character and setting the context. Okay, the middle part, which I already told you, is always, you know, uh, is longer than start of the movie and end of the movie. It will take around 45 to 50 seconds, where the entire movie taken place, where the climax is, you reach to the climax and resolve, and last around 15 second or 10 second you will keep for the final message or punchline, or maybe resolution or emotional punch, whatever you want to communicate with the society. So this is the overall idea of how you can start the story and end up the story. Again, I repeat, do not find anything, a literally superhero. Okay, I just mention you, the hero is who inspired us. Okay, you can use any text. Definitely you can use text. You can use definitely dialogue. If the dialogue is in a regional language, you can add English subtitle. Okay, and if there is some text which is in a typography, if you want to add in the movie to enhance the story communication, definitely you can do that also.
Yeah, so in chat, Zayed has mentioned, sir, please repeat again. I didn't get your point. Zayed, could you please be specific that what point you would like to be repeated? You just mention what you want us to repeat. We'll come up that. Yes, Samir sir, you continue. Okay,
Okay,
duration.
duration.
Yeah,
Duration is,
duration
I
is
told you, I repeat, yeah, I repeat again. Your movie, the pure movie duration is 90 seconds. Okay, maximum 90 seconds. Matlab, from you can finish the movie maybe in 55 seconds also, but maximum your movie duration is 90 seconds. Do not go beyond. Without credit, do not add in the credit in 90 seconds. If you want to add the credit, we'll share you the a new guideline maybe, but do not add your credit list within the film. Maybe we can create two films. One is with credit, another is without credit. I repeat again, the movie without credit, no credit, maximum duration is 90 seconds, and we render another film, second film with edit, maybe it will go longer than 2 minutes also, because credit, you have 5 students in the film, you want to give credit to the friends and families and teachers and mentors. 30 seconds is more than enough. 30 seconds is more than enough to add credit. So with credit is 2 minutes, 120 seconds, and without credit is 90 seconds. The aspect ratio is vertical, means 1080 by 1920. The horizontal is 1920, is vertical is 1080 into 1920. This is the your resolution size, and 16 aspect ratio is 9 is to 16, right? So it's just a flip. It's the same thing, which is we are not doing horizontal, we are doing vertical. Yes, this is another good question, sir. If the emotional punch of the short film comes earlier instead of last 15 seconds, does it reduce the overall impact of the no? This is again the way you tell the story to the audience. You can show the end first. There are a lot of amazing, great films which they're showing the end part first and slowly resolve the entire backstory and towards end the film. So this is again your director's storyteller's choice. This is on your own decision, your choice. what you want to show first. You can show the end first, the emotional impact, the hit area you can show first also. No problem. This is the way of storytelling. No problem. Okay, so we switch to the next slide where this is just for some of the examples where uh, you will find some good stories. Maybe a taxi driver or someone is working in some restaurant who serve the food to you, or maybe the delivery boy, your friend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad. Someone is neighbor, someone is staying in your neighbor, and neighbor is innocently helping you, like maybe whenever you go out, the neighbor is giving water to your plants, or maybe they receive some courier, or maybe uh, something which is very easily innocently doing some activity for you, and you definitely ignore. So if you find some important area, for example, very early days when we take the auto or bus, we pay the tariff and we just go out. But sometime, very we are in sitting in different mood and we are saying, yeah, thank you for dropping me. The simple words uh, to for the taxi driver, or just saying a thank you, we reach on time. So whatever the small thank you also is, showing a gesture of good human being. So the idea is, you try to capture that where you are touching the emotional area of the person which you are inspired from. Our topic are animal rescue. Yeah, now this is again we are discussing about cinematography. Swagta sir with us, and whatever the story taken place, the camera positioning, colors, formatting and layout is,
Framing, composition.
composition is playing a very critical role, because each and every shot is a film. So Swata sir with us, and I'm
Yeah,
requesting Swata sir, please go through the
sure.
some guidelines which is students can benefit of and do the needful.
Right. Before I move on to the next topic, is there any more question regarding to story or anything? If so, kindly put it in the chat box. Okay, so there is one question. If the video is in 16:9 aspect ratio, will that be disqualified? I think, yeah, I mean 16:9 aspect ratio will not work in case of a vertical film.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, I don't know about the disqualification part. So I
No,
think,
let me pitch in here.
yes, yes,
See,
please.
that capturing any film or a video in 16:9, obviously it will make the film in landscape mode. Okay. And if you put that particular film and try to manage that in vertical film, that whole screen is going to be very tiny on screen. So our recommendation is that just if you are maybe you can shot your film in landscape mode, but all the positioning, all the editing part need to be done in vertical mode only, right? So if you are shooting any film in 16:9 or a landscape mode, maybe you will utilize your whole real estate that is in landscape. So when you try to put that particular footage in vertical film editing, then a lot of your real estate which you have shot in landscape is going to cut out or mask out. Okay. So this you have to keep in mind. No matter, I mean, if you are thinking that something which I have to show need wider lens or wider shot, where I will plan to just pan the video footage to showcase the different character in my scene. So definitely you can plan landscape shot, but whole editing part need to be done in vertical mode, right? Maybe suppose in my film there are two situations. One guy is watching someone other, and then you decide that I will shoot it in landscape. You go for it because you have a plan that I will show the first character, and then that particular shot will pan and the second character will come into the picture. So if that kind of planning you have, then this particular type of shooting will help you. Otherwise, if you shot everything in landscape and then try to put it in vertical filmmaking, vertical framing, it will give you a challenge. Okay. So if you are planned to have that particular shot and try to use it in vertical frame, then I think you can go for some landscape shot. Okay. Hope I'm clear, or uh, any questions on that?
Yeah, so we can go to another important question, Samir sir. Now, how do we identify which moment is strong enough to build a short story around it? I think this is a very important question. Like, how do the students identify, know that, what kind of an emotion will give them a good story?
Yeah. Sometimes this is a good question again, but there's another question. I definitely answer that. For example, you know, just for the example, a a shop where a person do always the clothes. Okay, for Amit sir clothes or me cloth or Swagta sir clothes or whomsoever. The work is always do the dry cleaning and ironing the clothes. Okay, but the person who doing this job is not uh, well dressed up. But the person is doing the ironing, their own dress is very crumpled. You understand? So, but he is doing their own duty and try to keep clean and fixed your clothes. But this is he is not doing. Is maybe it's because of the schedule, and is not allowing as a financial condition to wear a new clothes or whatever, and somehow you register that and and give your clothes to wear the person. Or maybe I just give another example. Suppose the delivery boy is always uh, in whatever the weather condition is always try to deliver the food on time on your place. Maybe you are in the school, or maybe you are at home or in office. The delivery boy always deliver the food on time, but this boy is sometimes feeling hungry, and you notice that, and maybe you share the portion with them. Possibly, I'm just uh, spontaneously I'm answering that, but this is the sensitivity where you should keep in your mind. Every person needs some help, or maybe every person needs some attention, not help, need attention, because everyone is the part of our society. You understand?
Okay,
So
so I think the duration we have already clarified what should be the duration. There are quite a few questions on the duration and also quite a few questions on equipment. We have also mentioned what should be the equipment. Amit mentioned about the resolution, the aspect ratio. Now there is one question. I think this Amit can
Yeah,
only answer.
yeah, Swagata. There is,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of questions
correct, correct.
coming up
Yeah,
about the aspect ratio. So,
right.
guys, just remember, we cannot say the full screen movie is only vertical film, right? we can have 4:3 aspect ratio as well, right? It depends. I mean, if we go for the cinematic shot, where the some of the top area, some of the bottom area is black. Maybe many of the filmmaker prefer those framing. So this is not just to keep all the aspect ratio is 16:9. If you are creating the film, that could be 4:3, 9:16,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So all these aspect ratio can be used, but just keep in mind that need to be vertical. That cannot be used as landscape or a normal film resolution. Okay, that need to be vertical. It could be 4:3. It could be 9:16. So that is one point I would like to make it clear.
Yeah, Amit, one student is asking, can we go out from the school area and we can go out and go for the shooting?
Yes, why not? I mean,
Why
see,
not?
if they are planning a film, and maybe the location scouting, I mean, maybe the location they need to capture the film is obviously out of the center. So obviously they will visit that particular location. They can go and shoot. But obviously, if I would request that if you are doing so, just keep your center team informed that you are going to shoot the film over there, and it will be best that if you have your mentors with us, with yourself.
Yeah, because in some of the area of your city and maybe in my city, some area are very restricted to the shoot. So do not go the restricted area if you want to shoot in some hospital or some railway station or some area where you take a permission first. You must
Right.
take a permission first if needed and then go for the shoot. Students are free to shoot anywhere where uh, where they want to be communicate the story. There is no limitations, there is no restrictions, but keep the permission with you if needed. Okay. And about the language, if your filming is in your regional language, keep the subtitle with the film. In the subtitle is very traditional method. But if your movie is in English, then not required any subtitle. If your movie filming in a regional language, okay, then only you can add subtitle. Okay,
Right.
I guess that clear all the doubts. Or we'll keep talking. Don't worry. So we'll finish this. Go through with the entire sonography
Correct, correct, correct.
idea and tips. We'll take your question again,
See,
and
lot
don't
of
worry.
things, yeah, lot of things that students are asking about aspect ratio and all that is going to be covered in our tomorrow session, because
Right,
that is based on the editing and look and feel. So
right.
that is there. Yeah. So today we have to more focused on the storytelling that Samir sir has covered, and what Mr. Sagata is covering now is cinematography. So related to this, I think the question will be well.
Yeah. So, taking cue from that and moving ahead. So, there are basically the five elements in cinematography that we should consider. Now, these are known as the five C's of cinematography. So, it would start with the framing and the composition of your scene, of your shot. So, you have to understand what is the frame, which is either a long shot or an extreme long shot. If you want to establish your surroundings, then there are mid shots. I mean, from extreme long shots, we can go to long shots. Long shots would actually show you a certain region, probably a railway station, an airport, mountains in the vicinity. It can be a river, it can be the open sky. So these all fall under the category of long shots. From long shots, we move to mid shots. that is waist length shots of human beings, and then close-ups, and then extreme close-ups. So that is what framing is all about. And composition talks about what kind of elements should be there in our frame. What kind of, if there are characters, then what kind of clothes? If there are curtains behind the character, what kind of curtains? Lighting, you want to show the light source inside your frame, or you want to show it as a off-screen light source. For example, there is moonlight coming through the window, so that would be considered as an off-screen light source. Let's say there is this person who's sitting at her desk, probably she is writing her diary, and then there is a table lamp, then that table lamp is part of the shot. So that is a on-screen light source. Now, if it's a bedroom or if it's a study, your art direction should be as per your location. You don't put a bed in your study. Study should have either your desktop, the hardwares, a nice desk, probably tables, bookshelves, books, diaries, whereas a bedroom is more of a personal space. Then again, completely counter to it, if it's an office atmosphere, it's a corporate atmosphere, then what kind of prop, what kind of chairs, what kind of tables, what kind of costumes should be there inside a corporate background or in a scenario. So framing and composition both are very logical aspects of filmmaking. And yes, there is a lot of art into it based on the kind of colors. If your character is wearing, let's say, a color like blue, sky blue, so that is a cool color. In that case, try to keep the background in warm colors, either a lighter shade of red, a lighter shade of orange. So against a warm background, a cool character costume will always make the character stand out a lot more. I mean, through the lens, the world seems very different. So when you are experimenting, like how Samir sir had suggested, just go out, do a rough cut shoot of your entire film. That is where you will realize a lot of things, like what kind of colors they pop more in your scene, what kind of a lighting scenario, what kind of a prop. Do you need foreground elements if you want to add some depth into your scene? So there are mid-ground elements, foreground elements, background elements. So that always increases the depth of your scene. So that is what we consider in framing and composition. Then we have the camera angles and the movement of the camera. Now remember one thing, movement of camera increases the duration of the film. Now we have a limitation, which is a film within 1 minute 30 seconds, a minute and a half. So 90 minutes, sorry, yeah. So 90 seconds is what you have. So try to plan your shots. My suggestion would be not to have too much of a camera movement. You can use a camera movement to establish the film towards the starting, or you can add a camera movement towards the climax to bring a resolution to the film, to draw a climax on the film. But try not to add camera movements in between. Camera movements, they eat more frames. They unknowingly increase the duration of the film. Camera angles, we already spoke of close-ups, extreme. mid shots, medium shots, long shots, extreme long shots, point of view shots. So these are the basics which I am sure all of you are well acquainted with. The third aspect would be lighting, which is one of the most essential factors in creating mood for a film. If it's a sad moment that you want to show, try to have single light sources, reduce fill lights. I mean, if it's a room, try to draw the curtains, keep one bright light. If possible, do a shoot in the evening, early evening. If your phone or your camera doesn't support night shoots, try to go for early evenings, very early mornings, where there is limited amount of fill light. Try to have stronger single light sources. You can also add filters on your colors. Filters are easily available anywhere. They are cellophane kind of papers, multiple colored papers. You can also mix these papers to create other shades of colors. Now, lighting, it also brings concern to the color of the costume. So try to experiment, try to have different colored costumes, then put light on that, take snaps, static images, just to see which kind of a costume color is more prominent than the other. For example, red, a darker shade of red, that will absorb more color. It will not look bright. Whereas a lighter shade of blue, a lighter shade of orange, a lighter shade of green, these will really pop. I mean, they are very bright in color when you have a direct light source. The fourth aspect would be continuity. For example, your film is inside a school, inside a classroom, for example. Now you have to maintain that continuity in the location. You cannot change the location of the classroom in the middle of your film. Then your audience will be confused as to where this is happening. So whichever location you choose, make sure that you stick to that location for the entire duration of the film. If the film is inside an office or inside someone's house in a balcony or on a terrace or inside a garage or inside a garden, try to find elements that help the audience understand that it is the same location. There is continuity in the location. The story can also be inside one location only if required. Based on your story, it should not have to, it is not a rule that your story has to convey multiple locations. If the storyline is strong enough, if the characters are strong enough, then the entire film can be shot in one location, depending on what kind of a story you have. So continuity is also known as a hookup. So if there is a lamp in a shot where you have shown a table lamp or a standing lamp, and probably the character goes into a flashback into a different location and then again comes back to the present, you have to maintain that continuity or the hookup by showing that table lamp on the table. So the audience knows that your character is now back to the present. So keep in mind the hookups and the continuity. And final bit is the editing part. Now, I wouldn't say much about editing. I'm sure tomorrow you guys will have a very exciting session on the editing bit. Now, moving ahead. So framing and composition, there are, three, probably these are the three thumb rules that we can call off. So one is the action which is conveyed. So I mean, the important aspect, important action which is happening in your shot or inside the frame, try to keep it in the center of the frame. Now, by the center of the frame, it doesn't always mean exactly in the middle. We'll talk about the rule of third and how to frame your shots. But basically, the most important element, be it a character or a prop, or it can even be a location. Like, for example, it can be a very famous library. It can be a very famous mall. It can be a very famous restaurant. So that can occupy the center of the frame because that is the most important element of your scene or your shot. You can use close-ups and medium shots because they really work wonders in mobile screens. So try to have more mid shots and close-ups because on a mobile screen, they really have a good impact. I mean, I'm sure many of you watch reels. So if you watch reels, then you will definitely know that to convey an emotion or to convey a certain dialogue delivery, even though I would suggest keep no dialogues, try to have more visuals, show more emotions through acting. I'm sure that that you are not professional actors, but at least you will be able to manage something where you can rely more on visuals rather than dialogues. And then avoid wide shots, because in vertical framing, to frame a wide shot is somewhat difficult. So try to have locations which can be immediately established, like a tea house, a restaurant, probably a library, a school, a garden, a jogger's park, something which can be established very easily, not like a scenic beauty like mountains and a village and everything. So that is again a little difficult to frame inside a vertical film. It is not impossible, it's a little difficult. So yeah, so depending on your story, choose your locations. Now, what framing and composition basically talks of is the way the different elements are arranged in your frame. So whatever we are seeing through the camera, understand this, whatever the audience is seeing through the camera, whatever elements you are putting inside the frame is what the audience is seeing. And try to have an understanding of what the audience might like. Is it a mid shot of a person singing a song? Is it a top angle shot of a girl climbing the stairs where the light source is from behind the character? There is long shadow of the girl on the staircase, or is it a very cloudy environment? I mean, there is really good contrast in the shadow, but very soft and diffused light. I mean, you can always make use of natural light sources. If you are shooting in exterior, you can always take help of the natural lighting conditions, and they really look good. If you are able to frame your shots, they really look good. So you have to go looking for the perfect location. It is not necessary and neither it is possible that the first location or the first place that you are shooting will give you the best output. So probably if you are looking for a jogger's park, then it might be possible that you will have to look for 2 or 3 different positions, locations, benches where there are less people. You don't want people moving in the foreground, overlapping your character. Yes, it gives a natural feel if your character is inside a market. For example, your character is outside in a mall or in a marketplace, and you have characters, extra characters, crowd characters overlapping your protagonist, then that is fine. That gives a very natural feeling. But if that person is, let's say, sitting inside a garden reading poetry, you don't want extra crowd characters overlapping your protagonist. So that will be disturbing. So the way the elements are arranged inside the frame, the way the bench has been kept, the table has been kept, if the character is carrying a water bottle, the way that water bottle is kept, the way the bag is kept, if the character is a street performer, the way she keeps her musical instruments or her hat or hat, his bag, shoes, anything, everything is part of storytelling. Now, this brings us to a very important factor in framing and composition, which is the rule of the third. Now, as per the rule of the third, what we do is we divide the frame into 9 equal halves. So there are 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines, which basically divides your frame or your shot into 9 equal halves, as it is shown in the reference image. Now, where these vertical and horizontal lines intersect each other, where they cross each other, is known as the golden point, and the areas of interest, as in whatever is the most important element in your shot, in your scene, should be put on these intersecting points. For example, this person who is driving a scooter, for example, a red scooter. So firstly, the red scooter as a color, it really pops out. See, compared to that, in the background has very dull pastel colors. There is a darker shade of brown, there is a darker shade of green, there is very less light, and the character is somewhat in sunlight, and he is riding a red scooter. So immediately the character pops. But the character is placed on the rule of third, as in you can see the vertical lines, the 2 vertical lines and the 2 horizontal lines, and the character is placed where these lines, they intersect each other, both the character and the scooter. Similarly, the person who's playing the cello, now this character is more towards the left. We might feel that this character is right in the center. It's not. See, it's more towards the left. Yes, the cello is also important in this particular shot. It's an important prop. So the character and the musical instrument, both are important. So wherever the vertical and the horizontal lines, they are intersecting each other, you have the musician and the prop. Similarly to this girl who is a street performer, the character is placed on the intersecting point, and also the instrument that she is playing is put on the intersection of the vertical and the horizontal lines. So this is how you frame. I'm sure many of you, I'm sure that all of you are using smartphones. Smartphone cameras, they now come with this option of rule of third. It's just that we call it as grid, but in layman's term, it's called as grid. But what that grid does is it actually divides your scene into 9 equal halves, and very easily it can give you the idea as to where your character or your prop or a certain vehicle or an animal or anything that is important to your scene should be placed inside the shot. So this again brings us to another aspect with regards to framing and composition only, that is balance and symmetry. how do we balance a certain shot? Now, if you notice in all of these shots, the character is placed on one of the intersecting points and the prop is placed on another intersecting point. But in contrast to that, over here, see, all the characters are right at the center. They are not on the intersecting points. They are right in the center. This is the absolute middle of the frame. This box which is there in the center is the middle of the frame. That is bang on. This is the bang middle of the frame. This is not wrong. I mean, we generally say that, let's not keep the characters right in the middle of the frame. But this is not wrong either, because if you want to specifically focus on your character, you want your audience just to look at the character and nothing else. You're telling the audience that whatever I am showing you is the most important thing. The girl having coffee, see, the background is very, it has hardly any object which is bright, or any bright element or a bright color. It has got very European color palette to it. It's a very dull environment. It's almost like a cloudy day, devoid of any, direct light sources. There is this character in the center having a cup of coffee or tea. But this character is the central point of interest, nothing else. The background is also, the whatever elements there on the background has been reduced to nothing based on the depth of field. Then again, this girl who is reading a book, probably she is buying books. It's a bookstore. It's an open market. But this character, there is a bright background. There are these nice pillars on either side of the character. So that is again restricting my view as an audience. This background, and on top of that, I have my character who's wearing dark clothes. So dark clothes against a brighter background is again making my character pop a lot. So my focus is directly on the character. Whereas this is a perfect example of what symmetry is. This character is standing right at the bend. See, neither to the left nor to the right, right at the cross section. Where there is a bend, this character is standing right in front of it. So it's a very nicely balanced frame. So this is what we need to learn, and this is what we need to apply in our films to make them look beautiful. Because see, at the end of the day, what is the first feature that will grab our audience's attention? Storytelling will take time for the audience to ultimately understand the story. That will take them a minute and a half to understand what the entire story is all about. But what is it that should immediately get a hold of your audience's attention? That is nice, interesting visuals based on your story. If it's a sad environment, that will call for similar lighting, similar kind of costumes. But if it's a happy environment, then again, your costumes, your lighting, everything will be different. But the first and the foremost important part is to grab your audience's attention. You are asking your audience to go through your narrative, but you have to get your audience hooked to your visuals. We have something which is called as leading lines. That is lines, patterns which are there inside. These are all natural elements. I'm sure it is there everywhere, in any city, in any I mean, you will find these things anywhere, on any city on earth. There are architectural patterns, for example, the one on the extreme right, the pillars. So this gives a nice frame. It is drawing your camera towards the audience. I mean, towards the protagonist, this character who is walking through this passageway. So the pillars is drawing my eyes, or the audience's eyes, more towards the protagonist. They want, I can immediately, this character immediately pops up in this background. And similarly over here also, probably this character is on the zebra crossing, and these white lines, they are, they are again drawing my attention to this person who is crossing the street. Yes, this person is also carrying a bright umbrella. There is a nice reflection of this character on the water. So this is, again, it is forming a very symmetrical, balanced frame. Just imagine you put that grid, you put the rule of third grid over here, you will find this character right in the middle of the frame. Whereas this character is more towards the right, towards the camera right. If I put the grid, this character is little towards the camera right, whereas this character is right in the middle. This character is more towards the camera left, on the left hand grid. But these rivets which are there, this can be a metal pipeline, this can be a metal plank, boarding, anything on the street. But these rivets are, again, it is drawing my attention, it is drawing my eyes towards this character who is standing there. So these are nice visual details. And see, this will only happen when you plan what you are trying to do. Now, when you go to a location, when you finalize a location where you want to shoot, don't just immediately start shooting. That is not the objective. Study the environment. If it's a jogger's park, study what that jogger's park is all about. What are the benches like? Are they wooden benches? Are they stone benches? What kind of trees are there? What kind of flowers? Probably you might add some nice colorful flowers if it's a bright, happy story that you're trying to say. If you're trying to say a sad story, then you will try to avoid any kind of greenery. You just want a wooden bench where a person is sitting, probably tired or sad or hungry or anything. So based on your story, you have to take these quick decisions. Now, eye level framing. Eye level framing, this talks about framing the camera at the audience's eye level. So this immediately puts the audience along with your film characters. The audience will feel that they are in the same storyline as your film character. Whatever character you are showing through the film, the audience will immediately feel that they are only a part of your film. So that's the reason we have these eye level frames, where the camera frame is actually as per the height of an average human being. So somebody is inside a phone booth, or somebody is carrying an umbrella crossing the street, somebody is looking outside the window, but you know that you are at the same level of the actor emotionally. I mean, obviously you are not part of the film, but the audience feels emotionally that they are part of the film when they see that their height, their eye level, it matches the eye level of the actors inside the film. It's a very nuanced approach of filmmaking. And these are very subtle details that have a real impact on the kind of cinematography, framing, composition that you want to do. And for this, the most important thing is to watch good films, classics. from around the world. Now, depth of field is a nice way of showing depth inside your shots, and it can be done very effectively for interiors, exteriors. For example, this bicycle against the lamppost, and so this bicycle basically is in the foreground, even the lamppost which is there. So these are the foreground elements, the pavement. These are all the foreground elements where our main focus is. The midground is the street. This is the middle ground, which is behind the lamppost, and the background are these buildings, the cars, people walking, these little shops over there. So these are the background elements. So there are three layers that you are dealing with, or rather that you have created by simply putting these two elements in the foreground. If we would have removed the lamppost and the cycle, then it would have been a very flat shot. I mean, there is a road, there are cars, and then there are buildings in the background. But with the foreground element, this lamppost and the bicycle, we have created an additional layer of depth. Similarly, this girl who's watching something on the tablet, this character who's there. So in the foreground, you have a pillow, a cushion, one of the smaller pillows on the sofa, one of the cushions. Then we have the character, and then behind the character, the entire room or whatever location she is in. Similarly, over here, when you are holding a phone, the phone itself, the midground, which is the focused area, which is this cathedral or a church, and then in the background, the defocused architecture of which it is actually taking a snap. So you have to find ways to enhance the depth of your scenes. You have to plan, you have to do storyboards, you have to write down, short notes. What is your focal area? What is the most important aspect of your scene? What is the most important element in your scene? These are some of the questions that you should answer before you actually start the shooting process. Because see, the shooting process is very mechanical. You have a device, you know what to shoot, you have good lighting conditions, you want the lighting conditions to be apt as per your storyline, as per the mood. But what goes behind taking that shot, that homework, that understanding is what really matters. Now, deep space composition, to some extent, now they use deep space. Now, this is mostly overlapping things, something that we already spoke of. Let's say the character is inside a marketplace, the character is crossing the street, the character is in a crowded place. So there will be characters, extra characters, crowds who are overlapping your protagonist or the actor who's there in your film. So, these are significant elements inside a scene, and they are usually placed both near and far from the camera. And they don't have to be necessarily in focus. The extra characters who are overlapping your protagonist or your actor, they doesn't have to be in focus because they are not important. They are just a part of the natural existence of things. What is more important is your character, your protagonist, your actor who's there in the film. Probably that actor wants to buy a very important medicine, and she or he, that person is, probably going through a very crowded part of the city, a very busy street. There will definitely be cars and people, overlapping your actor or your protagonist. That will make the scene look more natural. But you have to be really careful while you are shooting in such places because of safety matters. So don't randomly start shooting on streets. It can have cars, it can have anything. It can have parked cars. It can be a very busy. I mean, even you can bump into normal bystanders or with people. So try to be careful when you are shooting in busy streets, and definitely seek for permissions. Try to have extras, probably your classmates from centers, they can, act as crowd characters in your film. So there are n number of ways as to how you can create natural shots in your films. Then blocking the shots. How do you block different elements inside your scene? And this is more to do with how elements are placed inside your shots. So if there is a character in the foreground and then there is a building behind that character, and you want to show that character as a very dominant character, there is some dominance inside that scene. So definitely you go for a low angle shot. So that also gives a nice background. For example, the one which is there on the left, this one, the one in the middle. So this is again at the eye level of the audience. It is as if your audience is sitting right next to this character. He is sitting near the window. There is nice sunlight on the character. This looks more like a workshop. What the way the different elements are placed inside the scene. See the window, the characters, the foreground elements. It forms a very nice triangle. Similarly over here also. See the angle at which this girl is standing. It is also at the diagonal end of this building. So the framing is very well thought of. These four characters, see, they are sitting at different levels. They are not all sitting at the same level. They are sitting at different levels, and that gives a nice, variation in the lighting, in the placement of the characters, the way different the props are kept on this center piece of stone. It is not that they are kept in a very arranged manner or something, because that doesn't look natural always. There is a light source which is there in the scene, and we can see the light source. So this is an on-screen light source. This is a single light source. That is the reason we have a lot of contrast in the scene. There is very less fill light in the scene. So these are very simple natural techniques. It is not important that you should have, the costliest mobile phone or the costliest lights or a great location to, to have a film. It is what you want to show. What is the emotion that you want to show through your film is what is more important. Dutch angle is where the camera angle is tilted, and yes, in vertical framing also, it is possible to do Dutch angles. So this has been tried and tested by a lot of filmmakers. Dutch angle where the frame is only tilted is possible, and this gives a very nice twist. Basically, it gives a very nice visual twist. It makes your audience, suddenly realize that okay, there is something wrong probably which is happening. And when you are showing something very dramatic, probably a thriller, or you want to bring in a bit of supernatural connect to your film, or something unexpected which is going to happen, not supernatural, no, neither horror, but something very human, but something very unnatural, which was not, I mean, it was not supposed to happen and then it happened. So just to have that kind of a twist, even in the visuals, this is very apt to have a Dutch angle. Over the shoulders, these are very interesting shots where you place a camera behind the shoulder of the character. This again, I mean, this is a way of having overlapping characters, multiple depth points, foreground, midground, background characters or elements inside your scene. For example, this character, the one who's there in the crowd, so he's cheering. So this is the foreground. The midground is the musician, and then behind this musician there is another guy, but it is he is almost obscure. So this creates a nice sense of depth. Also over here we have probably this person who's sitting on a desk. He is studying something, but we have this bag in the foreground, the table in the foreground, and then this character in the midground, and behind that, this wall. There is this character lady walking behind the character, another character, but directly over the shoulder. So these kind of examples are easily available as references in films, in photography. And so camera angles, this is something that we have already discussed earlier: extreme long shots, mid shots, close-ups, extreme close-ups, high angles, low angles. And I'm sure, I mean, as students of filmmaking, you have already, you have studied these kind of details in digital filmmaking. So, I mean, these are what long shots would look like. It is establishing a certain area, geographical location, time of the day, architecture, a crowded train probably. So it depends on why you are using that kind of a shot. And then mid shots of characters, mostly of characters, where you probably want your audience to have a sense of emotional connect. If she's traveling on a train, writing something in her diary, or it's a little girl who's trying to read newspaper, or just a person sitting on the sidewalks. But the way it has been framed, the way they are trying to say a story with the help of these frames is what is more important. And then some low angle shots. It makes your character, in low angles, basically, it puts a lot of emphasis or importance to your protagonist. It makes your protagonist look more dominant. So that's the whole idea of having low angle shots. Like top angle shots will is more like looking down upon your character. You want to show that there is a lot of pressure on your character. The character is burdened with a lot of emotional stress, or stress at their workplace, or with their family or friends or in relations. So that's where you put a top angle, a high angle, where you show that, I mean, everybody is looking down upon your character. And then lighting. This is one of the best features for in cinematography, brother, because it is not just about lighting, but it is also about the direction of the light. It is also about the color of the costumes. It is also about how you are placing your protagonist or your props. Even props in with proper lighting can be used for beautiful storytelling. So it's all about how your light is placed based with respect to your camera angle. I mean, lighting has a direct relationship with the camera. I mean, I'm not saying the device. That can be a smartphone or a DSLR or an actual film camera, but how you have placed that light. What is the distance of that light from the camera? What is the light source? A candle will behave very differently from a table lamp in your shot. Probably 10 candles might do wonders in your shot. I mean, something very different. It gives very soft light if there is ample amount of fill light in your shot. Something very unnatural, something very different, something probably a lot more romantic. I mean, because we are used to seeing, uh, I mean, actual tungsten or electrical light sources in our in films in everywhere. So that candle, it gives a much more organic feel to your shot. So I mean, if there is a scope of having, you know, of having such elements or doing a little bit of experimentation with your shots, definitely try to do that kind of an experimentation. So this brings us to another aspect, which is production design or the art direction part of it. Now, uh, production design is actually divided into two parts, that is art direction and the set designing part. Now, we have covered a bit of it. For example, if dependent on the kind of location, the film is being shot, if it's a study, if it's a bedroom, if it's a staircase. So based on that, we have to decide on what kind of props should be there inside that room. So uh, while shooting or while looking for locations or while finalizing locations, you have to be really mindful about if you want to turn let's say somebody's study room into an office, and if you want to make that room believable, I mean, as if it's part of a corporate house, it's part of an office. So you have to take reference of what a office actually looks like. So are there blinds? What kind of colors there should be? What kind of furniture there should be? What kind of costumes should the people be wearing? So this is, I mean, it's all about research and studying your surroundings. That is what art direction and set design is all about. Yes, this is a very important part of the filmmaking process. It definitely has an impact, but it is a part of your visual narrative, and that is the reason you have to spend time while researching how how set designing is done, how art direction is done, how production designs are done, how locations are turned into something different from what they actually are. I mean, we all know that sets are built. So how do you do set designing? If it's a person's room, will there be photographs on the wall, postcards, posters? What kind of chairs? What kind of tables? What kind of curtains? Everything matters. So art direction, this basically talks of the overall look and feel, the proper lighting, the suitable locations, the right props, costumes, and this is very much similar to what set designing is all about. So overall, we have covered what is important in both set designing and art direction, the kind of props and elements that can be place to inside your location to make things look more natural. Try to use natural light sources. Try to shoot in daytime. If it's cloudy or overcast, then probably that would depend on the kind of climatic factors that's there in your region. So I mean, that also plays a very important part. So this is basically the physical space of where your film is being shot. And you have to be very mindful about your surrounding physical space. So here we have some nice framing of how you can show your natural surroundings, frame within a frame. I mean, these two frames, like where we can see this character through a grill. I mean, there is a certain design in the grill. So this is known as a frame within a frame, a window within a window. So again, this character through somebody's glasses. It's a very intelligent frame. This one, the third one. Yeah, I mean, try to, I mean, see over here, the lighting is in such a way. This is natural lighting. I mean, nobody has done this kind of a lighting. This is natural sunlight, but the shadow is in such a way, the light falls in such a way that when you place that character at that time of the day, it gives a very nice frame. So you have to spend time in that location. If you are there in the morning time, be there from 7 to 9 or 10 to 1 to understand how the lighting changes in that place. So that will only give you interesting frames to work with. So this brings us to costume designs. So costumes in the right mind. So these are clothing and accessories for characters. It can be a hat, it can be shoes, it can be the dress, it can be the props, the character they are carrying with them. So similarly, uh, music and the sound, the BGM, the voiceover if required, that also is an integral part of your film. So you have to use high quality audio, you have to use subtitles. That is part of your film. If your film is in regional language, the subtitle that you are using is part of your film, because the font, the style of the font is also part of your film. So you have to use music, sound effects to enhance the mood and the engagement of the audience. Samir sir, you wanted to add something with regards to the sound and music?
Yes, definitely. Students can use definitely non-copyright sound and background score. One thing which is I mentioned that mostly students films they do very much compromise on when they record the sound. Actually, because we don't have professional mics, okay, or maybe called some boom mics. There is a while shooting process. Mostly professionals are using boom mic to record the exact dialogue. So I suggest what you do if you can try again. That's why I'm suggesting why not try your film once before the final uh, production start. You can try one film right away,
Rough shoot.
rough shoot, yeah, and that time you can do the sound dubbing actually in
Mm,
professional studio film environment. The dialogue, all well, the dialogues is redubbed, is sound dubbing,
mm,
is called sound dubbing. So it need practice because your lip sync should be going with the vocal sound. Then and then only you can justify the sound quality while watching the film. Otherwise, suppose there are two characters are talking each other, and you don't have the proper sound recording device at your shooting place, then you are compromising on the sound. So I suggest two things. Either you can use boom mic to record your sound separately, because this is having another good experience while you are shooting your film. There's a good learning curve. Or you can do sound dubbing. It
mm,
also works well. So you have good quality shooting data, and you have audio in your hand, and you can go on edit machine, FCP or Premiere, and place the sound and the video footage together and finish the edit part. Because, and secondly, definitely, if the movie is emotional or movie is carrying some emotional component or happiness, always background score is always increase the communication quality, always enhancing the overall communication. Whatever the mood you find it, either ambient sound or you can add some complementary foley sound, is always enhance the story communication. So do not compromise on sound design. Maybe you can download some foley sound, or maybe you can download some non-copyright background score and add it in your final storyline. Students can use AI sound if they can use it, 11 Labs or Suno AI platforms. They can AI tools. They can create some AI Foley sound also, if they can, comfortable to use it. Definitely.
Yeah. So moving ahead. Now editing, so now definitely we'll have a detailed session on editing tomorrow. So I wouldn't say much. So basically, you have to keep the pace. You have to maintain the continuity. You have to deliver a very engaging visual narrative. Transitions, clean cuts, the flow, the narrative, uh, wherever there is a text overlay which is required, or if there is any kind of animation or motion graphics that you feel will do justice to your film. It's not important that it should have motion graphics, but probably in some story it might do justice. So yeah, so that's about with regards to editing. Now try to find your original voice. Try to experiment a bit with the visuals, with the angles, with the concepts. And that is the reason, if you notice, all the visuals that we have used, they are from daily life. They are not from films. We have not used Hollywood films, or we have not used European films to come up with the visuals. These are simple photographic works from artists around the world who capture their surroundings. That is more important. So you will have to find interesting visuals from your surroundings. It is just that you have to do this with a little bit of planning. I mean, the team should sit together, plan it out, have debates, have healthy debates, even have healthy arguments with regards to the story. Because at the end of the day, what is important is the output. And try to find ideas which are original, which the audience can relate to, and try to tap into that emotional quotient of your audience, because that is something which is connected across the world. I mean, that is one aspect in global filming. I mean, the costumes, the stories, yes, they definitely matter to create a
Yes.
global story.
Yeah, definitely. So, Akhtar sir, most of the time, students are very much, lenient about the choice of costume and the color. They
Correct,
just, because they want to shoot the film. So, whatever they like, they wear it and go for the shooting.
correct.
Don't do this.
Understand, yeah, understand that your costume, the color, the lighting, even if the character is carrying a book, that book has a certain impact on the audience.
So, so kindly requesting from my side and from the team side, kindly do research, try to find good time for the shoot. If you are shooting outside of the premises, definitely find some good location, good light condition. If the golden hours, like around 5:30 to between 6:30, if you can go for the shoot outdoor, you will capture definitely good
Mm.
lighting condition, having a good highlights on the eyes also. Accordingly, you can plan your costume color, like try to find some complementary color scheme, or maybe split complementary color also works very well. But do not just go for the shoot and finish the work. Don't. Otherwise, we cannot learn anything from this entire exercise, because this entire exercise plan, for not for the winning and losing. This is for the learning.
Learning
So
purpose, correct.
yeah, the purpose is purely learning. So I request everyone again, plan your each and every shot, plan your storyboard. Your story is maybe 60 second or 70 second. You can maybe have 40 shots in your movie. It depends. So watch some good short films, definitely watch some good short films, take notes, and plan it well.
Correct.
Acha, someone is
So
asking, sir, will it be more suitable to use a personal camera or high-end smartphone? You can use your personal camera. Do not spend on camera.
right.
Okay. Someone in the team, today's time, most of the phone are very good capacity to shoot any of the film. Okay.
Regarding the pre has already addressed. So guys, please don't bother about the resolution of your video and all. That is uh, handle in the criteria of the evaluation are very less. So if you are using your phone, your camera angle is good. The movement of camera you are is perfect. So we are not bothering about the resolution. Only that particular benefit you are going to get in DSLR. So never bother about the device. You can use any of the device, maybe the DSLR camera or any of the camera, or maybe your mobile. That is going to be least bothered. Uh, yeah, we have got queries in the chat. So I have answered most of the questions during the. Yeah, so there are some of the questions which we have received. Let me reiterate that for all of the participants.
Yeah.
Regarding the submission of story and the storyboard. So some of question has arisen that start shooting of the film before 16th when we are going to start our 100 hours competition. So obviously not, because in first phase you are going to submit us the entire story or script plus the storyboard. So most of the post processing part that is required, that you have done in phase one, and then after 16 when competition will start, you have to start shooting post processing of that particular film. As during the discussion, Samir sir has mentioned that suppose if you know that this is particular story that I am going to cover and this is the whole script and storyboard, obviously some kind of changes you will going to get from mentors, that this need to be changed in this particular manner. And he has mentioned start practicing, start capturing the film. Maybe you will understand the camera angle more. Maybe you can justify your things that yes, this particular option will work, this is not working. So that kind of practice will help you a lot when you go for final shooting after starting the contest. So that kind of practice you can do, but obviously you cannot start the final shooting. That will only be done after 100 hours will start. Okay. So this is very important to understand that you have to finalize one story based on the theme which has been given to you all. Based on that, you have to write a script, a detailed script. Then you have to break down the whole script in shots. And post that, you have to create a good storyboard where you need to keep all the things in mind that you are going to create a vertical film. So all the positioning and all the things need to be catered over there. So that kind of storyboard, and that need to be submitted to us on 4th of before on or before 4th of June. Uh, yeah. So this is one thing which I got in query. Yeah, one question I received from one participant that should the team members. I mean, if there is five members of members can be used for the film or the acting purpose kind of question. So that is not required. If your story demands a person uh, who is 35 years of age, or maybe a kid 6 or 7 years of age, so you can make any of person as your actor, right? It's not only that five actors of that particular film. Yeah, if you want to perform as an actor also, you can perform. That is not restricted, but that is equally not restricted that only that particular five team members are going to be the part of the actors team. So hope all the query has been addressed. If any query has not been addressed and not been taken, you can raise again. Yeah, all these questions has already mentioned. My team thing resolved around the animal is already thing where you have to show some superhero, some a person whose action is just bringing change in your mind, just uh, doing something which is thoughtful for you. Yeah, regarding this credit question, that uh, what is the time of the film and what will be the credit duration? So the guideline for submission, film submission will be shared with all of you, and there we will make this very clear that uh, suppose that credit duration and the film duration. For film duration, we have mentioned that your film, only the film, should not overflow one that 90 seconds duration, right? So you can be in between the 60 to 90 seconds of the film, right? If you are finishing your film in 1 minute, then obviously after that the credit thing will come because you are not overlapping that one 60 90 minute of duration. That's the part. But the detailed information will be shared with you all. Fine. So I think we have addressed all the query from all of you. If any query arise later, then you can simply write to us. You can discuss this with your faculty, and your faculty members or your mentors will write to us. We will happy to answer that as well. Okay, so Samir sir and Swagata sir, hope we will done with the things which we have prepared for
Yes.
the session,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Please
So
send your all the final story and storyboard to us. I guess mention the email ID. So if we find anything improvement, we'll definitely guide you or suggest you the mentor from the HO. And good luck
right.
for the amazing stories. We work together, and do your best. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. On the same note, thank you Samir sir and thank you Swagata sir for the
Yeah.
wonderful session and the ice
Thanks,
breaking for
Ankit.
the students,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
And
sure.
thanks Tapesh for your coordination to all this event. And
I'm
thank
sure.
you center team and
Thank you.
mentors.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
get
yeah,
some.
Swagata.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get great films from our teams.
Sure, sure. Okay, one final announcement that now today's session has done. Our another planned session is scheduled for tomorrow at the same time, like today. So let's connect there so that we can understand that how we can do the editing and post processing of the film aligned with the vertical filmmaking technique. let's meet tomorrow again and discuss some worthy insights for that sessions as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time and patience. Yeah, all the best. Take care. Bye.